Leo, welcome to your weekly tarot reading for May the 30th to June the 5th. Okay, let's get started and see what messages we have for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for your week ahead. Okay, Leo. Let's see. What are the messages for Leo? Ooh, that one wanted to flip. Eight of Swords. Oh my goodness, so many cards here. Let's. You know what? We're gonna shuffle again. That just felt like too much stuff coming out. Okay, there we go. For Leo, please. It's another eight. Not the Eight of Swords, but the Eight of Cups. Okay, let's see what else for Leo. Empress, Death card, okay. And the Nine of Cups. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, what's on the bottom? Look, the Eight of Swords that came out, it's back. It's on the bottom. Okay, interesting. Let's have a look at this for you, Leo. So the overall theme here is that we are a little afraid of something. We're afraid of an outcome. We're afraid of a consequence. We're afraid of an occurrence. We're afraid something's going to happen. And we sort of need to allow it to happen. We got the Eight of Cups here, so it's sort of like you have to let things happen the way they're going to happen, trusting that it'll always be the way it needs to be. I feel like whatever is happening here for you, Leo, is going to be transformative, and it's going to bring in some emotional fulfillment that you didn't have before. That by allowing something to happen, by even detaching emotionally from something so that you're not so fearful of it, that's actually going to bring in a lot of sort of nourishment, fulfillment. It's going to help you with your path moving forward into transformation. This is you stepping into the divine feminine energy of the Empress, where there's a lot of unconditional love, empathy, abundance, sensuality, that nurturing. You're sort of radiating this wonderful positive energy, but it's coming because of sort of a profound healing that is taking place, or a transformation. And it involves you walking away from something that you might feel attached to, that triggers a fearful response whenever you think about walking away from it. Whenever you think about departing from this path, you get a little bit afraid and you think, oh my gosh, what are the consequences going to be? What's the outcome going to be? I feel paralyzed almost. It's almost like you feel stuck, but what needs to happen is sort of movement away from some kind of emotional attachment, a situation that is not bringing out this sort of thriving energy. And as a result, transformation is here. Whenever the Death card shows up, it's time for something to transform. It's done. Something has sort of completed its natural cycle, and it's time to detach mentally and emotionally. I think it's so interesting that the Eight of Swords came back after I decided to reshuffle. You've got to detach from something and let it go. Let it go. And trust that emotional fulfillment will be there. You will be okay. You've almost got to trust that transformation sometimes can be so scary for us to get on board with, but it's actually, I feel like it's going to be very liberating for you, and it's going to set you free from something and allow you to expand your feminine energy and be very creative, nurturing, intuitive, and loving. Like it's almost like you will be mother to many. Like your perspective will be that of a mother, the Empress here, this divine feminine. So it's interesting. Let's clarify this for you, Leo. Seven of Swords keeps coming up for everyone. Six of Swords, Seven of Swords, Queen of Wands. This is interesting. Another eight. Got the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands. This is done. Something has come to completion. Even if you've worked hard at it, even if you're hanging on to it so tightly, you won't be successful in hanging on to it for long. This is something that has to transform. You've got the Empress and the Queen of Wands. So I feel like this is a time where you're going to be very empowered, but you've got to sort of release the energy of hanging on too tightly, hanging on to battles, hanging on to this idea of scarcity, hanging on to the idea that you must keep working at something. It's done. This has come to a natural conclusion. And I feel like you've been feeling overwhelmed, overburdened, overstressed. You may have even been feeling a bit of sacrifice here. And it's paralyzing, like it's debilitating you in the sense that like you just feel like, you know, when something has just come to an end, it's almost like a frantic feeling where you're trying to keep a little spark burning, but it's like that's it. The fuel is gone. The wood is finished. You know, there's nothing left to ignite this. This now just needs to be transformed. The energy has to be transformed into something else. And I feel like seeing these clarifying cards, it feels like you won't be successful trying to force this into continuing on. You're going to have to accept that something needs to be walked away from in order for you to have that renewed sense of you know, like right now I feel like you're struggling to hang on to something that is slipping out of your hands, and you're trying to hang on to it so hard, but no matter what kind of effort you put into this sometimes cycles just end, and we have to accept that. And we have to sort of trust it. That's the thing, is that it can be really hard to accept things when we don't trust that we're going to be okay. You know, if you don't trust that you're going to be okay at the end of this, and that transformation can be, you know, freeing, and it can create lightness within us and a renewed sense of unconditional love and empathy and abundance. It's almost like you're assuming, no, I'll feel scared, I'll feel alone, I won't be enough. I'm just going to keep trying to hang on to things the way they are. And it's I don't think that's going to serve you. From what I'm seeing in this reading, it doesn't feel like that's where you're going to feel that constant renewed energy. That's what needs to happen. It almost feels stagnating right now, because it's not going to keep going this way. There's something that you're overly attached to, maybe a little here, Leo. You're attached to the idea of it, and you're attached to it emotionally, but it may be time for you to trust that, you know, a new beginning is possible, and that feeling renewed is here, and that's not, I feel like you've discounted that. Like, it's almost like you feel like if this happens, if this outcome comes to pass, then you're lost. When actually what I'm seeing here is that you'll be rebirthed. You'll be reborn. You won't be lost. Your energy will almost get a renewed sort of jolt of energy. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting. You're at the end of a cycle here that you've grown very accustomed to and very attached to, but it can no longer continue, no matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much you hang on to it, no matter how much you ignore the idea of change. It's coming. It's coming here. Change is coming. And there's no reason to be defensive against it or fearful. It's almost this idea of just trusting it and settling into the feeling and the space of unconditional love for whatever comes along, and trusting that if it's here, then it's meant to do something transformative for you. That with this Nine of Cups, I think it's actually going to bring in a lot of fulfillment emotionally, and some surrender here. Surrendering things that feel like obstacles, that feel like burdens, that feel heavy. it's too much. You're carrying, when you're carrying so many things that something just keeps slipping out of your hands and you can't control it anymore. Let it all go. Let it all fall. This is all going to work out in your favor in the end. I'm going to leave it at that for you, Leo. I am sending you so much love and light, and I hope that if this reading has resonated for you, you'll consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. I always love to see your comments, see how the readings have resonated for you with what's going on. And I hope to see you again very soon for another reading. I'm sending you so much love and light. Take care. Have a good week.